Hello, 大家好，and I'm Margaret, and welcome to my little Cantonese corner. 今日2020年1月11號 It's the 21st of January today here in Hong Kong, and we're talking about laisee. Now, I learned something new today because I always said laisee, fung is laisee, right? It's just that sixth tone laisee. And then when I'm doing this video, I asked my friend, oh, I'm doing this video on laisee. And she's like, no, don't say it like that. It's wrong. That's lazy pronunciation. You should be saying it as laisee, laisee fung. And I'm like, I've never heard that. Or maybe I have and it's gone in one ear and out the other. I don't know. But it's actually laisee fung. So I've written it here on the board. You can take a look. And this leih, I've written it. This is the sixth low tone laisee. Laisee fung, which is kind of funny, right? Because we say laisee. I can't imagine. I'm trying to think of when I've ever heard it says laisee. So I'm super interested to know you guys, if you are Cantonese speakers, what do you say? And if you're learning, what have you learned it as? Have you learned it as laisee or have you learned it as laisee? It's a little bit different, right? And it's kind of funny because the laisee is the correct way, but it sounds a lot like in English, lazy, right? Laisee, lazy. Right, laisee, and that's our laisee or your red packet. So the characters are, this is your leih. Leih means benefit or profit, and this laisee means positive. It also, if you write characters or you speak Chinese, you know that this is also your character for to be, which in Cantonese we say is hai, right? Hai is I am. But when you write it, you use this character and you pronounce it as laisee. So laisee fung. Fung is your envelope. Okay, so your laisee is how you correctly say it. And actually, I think I'm going to add in my friend who sent me the voicemail message to tell me that I was wrong. So have a listen to that.
laisee，唔好講利是啊，錯㗎。利是係啲懶音，利是先至啱啊。
So you can hear her utter kind of like horror at the fact that I would be saying laisee fung. But again, you're probably going to hear that a lot. And so the laisee. Okay, so laisee fung is what we're discussing today. My friend Peggy was very kind to agree to do a little question and answer with me. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and let me know what you think below in the comments. Also note in the description box, I'm linking to my Instagram and Facebook, and also to Cantolingo, which is where I'm doing more lessons. I've got a special for Chinese New Year coming up. So if you guys are interested in learning more formally with me, then check out cantolingo.com. What does laisee signify?
So actually, laisees are from the seniors to the juniors, like grandparents to grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
It's a kind of like blessing. So that's why normally just the seniors to the juniors, because we seldom, the juniors seldom give it.
Right.
It depends because we give to our mother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we give
Okay.
our mother and
Not just the mother giving it to the children.
yeah, not just like that. Especially for married ones.
Right.
I gave to my mother, to my grandmother, just like
Oh.
also blessing.
Right.
Also blessing. This the meaning is blessing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a kind of good luck and blessing.
Mm-hmm. So what is the whole thing about the married and the single?
Yeah.
Like, I've heard that only married people are allowed to give, not married, are supposed to give it,
Yeah.
and single people are
Yeah.
supposed to receive it. But
yes, in a way, because mainly we just expect the married people to give laisee to the single people. But nowadays, many single people also like to give laisees because, as I mentioned before, it's like a kind of blessing and good luck from the seniors to the juniors. That's why even if you are single, but if you like my aunt likes to give laisee to me, just like a blessing from the senior to the junior, and it's also like a kind of good luck, especially for single women who really want to get married. Then maybe just like, oh, I hope next year I can be really a married woman giving laisee to you. So this year I give you in advance.
In advance, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a
like
single lady and I give you the laisee,
Yeah.
and then hopefully next year I will be married.
Yeah, so it's in advance. It's like a blessing and something happy and good
Yeah.
luck. So people nowadays don't really care much about that.
Right.
Anybody give me, I will say thank you.
True.
Anybody,
True.
yeah.
How much then is customary to give in the laisee packet?
It really depends on relationship. If for your close friends and relatives, probably more. But for ordinary, generally speaking, it's $20. $20 for
Right.
each packet. For very general.
Yes.
Yeah, for some, for of course, like for me, when I give to my mom, it won't be 20. It will be like 500, 1,000 like that.
Right.
Yeah, and for grandparents to grandchildren, it may be even more. It depends, really depends. But generally, 20.
Another question a lot of people have is sometimes you see people give one
Yeah,
laisee envelope, and sometimes you'll see them give two
yeah,
at the same time.
yeah.
So what's the way to do it?
To make it simple, if you are single, normally you give one because only for yourself.
Mhm.
If you are married and if you are giving it the laisee to a close friend or relative, then you may give your husband or your wife share as well. So you give two. Two, it means
One for
a
wife,
couple,
one
couple,
for right, a couple.
couple. But it depends. Like if for some of the friends only my friends, it's not my husband's friend. They have never met before. Then I may give one.
Right.
It depends. Yeah, but for closer friends and then two.
Okay.
It really depends on the relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. But for relatives, normally we give two.
Two.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Mhm.
relatives. Yeah.
I know a lot of people, a lot of expats, that non-Chinese
Yeah.
people, wonder about your building caretaker and security staff and that. Should
Yeah.
you be giving one or two, and how much to be giving?
I think if you are married and if you like give a security guard, I think you probably give two. And it is also dependent on the work performance of that, like security guard. If you really appreciate his hard work throughout the year, then maybe more, maybe 100, 200. But if the performance is just fair, so then maybe 20 each or 50 each. Right?
Okay.
It depends. Yeah. Then some people like to see it as a kind of how to say reward.
Yes.
Award, not reward. Award for the one working for them.
Mhm.
So it depends.
It's interesting because you will note in Hong Kong, especially in the run up to Chinese New Year, they'll start to be
The security guards are, I don't know why, much more hardworking and much more cheerful and much more so. You can tell because they want something more.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
That's fun.
Yeah,
That's
they're
fun.
suddenly so attentive and they show up more. And
They say they greet you every time they see you, but only during this 2-week period.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Very
they like
common.
to walk around.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They appear out of nowhere. Okay, so let's talk about. We've been showing a little bit of these laisee packets. The laisee packets themselves. There's different sizes. Usually there's big ones this size, and then they've got the square ones.
Gold one.
This folds over, of course. And so what about the packets? It's personal choice, of course, but
Yeah, personal choice.
yeah.
Mainly red or gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the past, actually, when I was receiving, when I was single, like 20 years ago, mainly like this. We didn't have much the big.
Oh,
we
right.
didn't
Yeah.
have it. But now I think people, because think it's more convenient, just because of the convenience. When you put inside, you don't need to throw.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why people tend like this kind more now.
That's true.
But it
because
depends. Yeah, you don't need to
right.
fold much faster when you.
Yeah. That's some of the memories we have of before Chinese New Year
Yeah.
is bringing out the stacks of new money and then having to fold them.
Yeah.
And it took, like watching TV and just seeing stacks of money being folded and folded.
Yeah.
Takes
In the
some time.
past, people thought that if you use this, it must be a lot inside.
I had that same feeling. It
feel
has
like
to be
in the past.
500, at least
It
100.
must be something big.
Yes.
If you use this.
Yes.
But nowadays,
really?
no, not
I
anymore.
still have that feeling. Have that feeling.
Because
that if you have a
more
big-
and more companies,
There's the other-
more and more companies, I don't know why, they like to produce this kind.
Right, the big ones.
So more and more big ones. That means it's no longer so exceptional.
Yeah, that's true.
Even
That's
I
true.
myself, I like to use the big one.
Right.
because I don't need to flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes too, because once you put it in the envelope, you can't tell how much is in there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you have to keep them separate so
Mm.
that you're not giving out 20s when you want to give a 50 or
Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
So a lot of times that's why I think, well, for us, we usually use the big ones for the higher denominations,
Mm.
for 100 or 500, because then we know.
And it's a
Or
good
different
way.
style, yeah.
It's a good way.
styles.
Different people may use their own different way to
Right.
different ways to
Differentiate.
For me, I just put in different packets.
So what about using new money and old money? Because I know if you're in Hong Kong, you might notice that lines form at the bank like a week before Chinese New Year, and long lines outside the bank of people changing for new dollar bills. But what's
For me, I don't really care about that. But for older people like my mother, she really wants to have something new, completely new.
Right.
So she kept asking me last week, "Oh, can you have change for that?" Blah blah blah. I don't want to line up. Blah blah blah. But honestly, for most people, I think they don't really care.
Right.
Because people think New Year, so we have to use something new. When I was a kid, New Year was the time for my parents to buy me new clothes,
That's right. Yeah.
new shoes. So
New
everything
shoes.
must be new. But now, people don't really care much about it. Yeah. But of course, I try to avoid some very old and dirty notes. It's
fine.
not really not old. It's okay lah, I think.
Okay,
For some
yeah, you
very
can tell it's a
old
little bit
and
crinkly.
very dirty ones,
Just
I
nice.
try to avoid using those. Yeah.
Right. And what about so back in the day, I remember you used to get a laisee, and if it was heavy, like it had a coin in it, it was like, it's just a coin.
$5.
$10.
Yeah.
And the interesting story about when the government, Hong Kong government, did away with the green $10 note, and before they had this is a $10 note.
The current one.
It's like $1.30 US. Before they had this, they had $10 coins. And actually have one, so I'm going to stop and get a coin. I'll be back. So here's the example of a $10 coin. You can see it's very thick. And the $5...
Quite heavy, actually.
Yeah, quite heavy. And there's a $5 coin. They're quite heavy. And obviously, this in a laisee fung compared to a paper note, you can immediately
tell. Yeah.
So when the government came out with the coins...
So the main concern of most of the people is, so do I have to increase the amount of my laisee from 10? Because from 10 to 20, because in the past, $10 was the norm. We normally, use $10. But when the government announced that, we would replace this with this, not this, $10, the green one.
The green one,
this
the newer one.
Then the main concern of the people is, then we cannot give this as laisee anymore. So we have to give 20. So that's why, after a while, the government announced that, we would have the new $10.
Right.
But I'm not sure whether it's related.
Right.
I think it may not be related.
That's true, but there must be something about it. Well, and these are they're so heavy.
Yeah.
The $10 coins are really heavy.
Yeah, but anyway, now we normally give 20.
That's true. So, if we could talk about some tips, tricks, and taboos surrounding this. And I know that when you're giving laisee, it's always with two hands, correct?
Yeah. Two hands. So like this, when you give or when you receive, the same, two hands. So never use a single hand. It's very impolite. I think it's the same as when you receive gifts or presents.
Even a business card, right?
Yeah.
People, in Hong Kong, you'll know giving a business card, you give it with two hands.
Of course, you don't open up. It's even more unacceptable.
Very rude.
Unacceptable. Yeah. So the best way is to, after you receive it, you just pretend that you give me. Just okay, thank you, daughter, and then you just daughter, and then you keep it in your pocket or in your bag. Yeah, it's the best way. And also another taboo is if something bad happened around you before the CNI, right? Like in the month before the CNY, so you don't give away laisee lah, because it's considered like giving away some bad luck to people. Like for example, touch wood. If your family just passed away before the CNY or in the run-up, so you probably don't give laisee or even receive. Some people don't even receive because it's considered something happy, something celebrative. Yeah,
Mhm.
so
So it's
the
like
people,
you wouldn't give it because you'd feel like you're passing on bad luck.
yeah,
Right,
passing
right.
on bad luck. Yeah,
Okay.
so
Another question we have is a lot of people wonder is how long before
Yeah,
you
yeah.
stop giving laisee? Yeah.
traditionally it's the 15 days, the first 15 days of the Chinese New Year, but it depends now. Some people just give out laisee for the first 7 days, and some even for the first 3 days.
Mhm.
Only it depends. But
Okay.
normally I think 15 is too long, even for me.
Right.
If for my close friends or relatives, I would give even for the whole month.
Mhm.
It's fine. But if for just general friends, for
Yeah.
me 7 days.
I think a lot of times it's because like time seems to go much faster now. And I remember when I first came to Hong Kong, shops, everything would shut for 3 days.
Yeah.
Nothing was open.
But now still
Now-
the shops are still open.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, I think. I mean,
Because the tradition is not like when I was a kid. It's a really a very big event
yes,
for CNY. Very big, and it's very festive. But nowadays,
right.
not that festive, I think.
And it used to be very specific, like which day you go to visit, which family members.
Yeah, in the
right?
past,
In
yeah.
the past, and now it just seems like not a
Flexible, lah.
very flexible. Yeah.
Because people may be more busy now. I don't
True.
know. They are
Traveling.
more engaged. They're more engaged now.
Yes.
Yeah, some may even be traveling overseas during
Mhm.
the CNY, so it's different.
Yeah.
It's quite different from the time when I was a kid. I
It
think.
does seem to be more families are holding like a joint gathering.
Yeah,
Where they'll pick a date and then the whole family gathers at a tea house and then they play mahjong or they do things
Yeah.
and then they exchange all their laisee
Yeah,
on
yeah.
that one day instead of this day I go to my in-laws, this day I go to my parents.
but I think it's good. Yeah, I
Mm.
think it's good because if
Good to
you
have
you
days.
visit one by one, then it will.
Then it will take 15 days.
Yeah,
and then-
yeah. Even for my family, it's just because my grandmother and then she has 12 children, so you can tell it's a very big family now.
Right.
So like 30. So we just gather on one day,
Yes.
one of the days, and
Mhm.
then that's it. And then
Yeah.
we don't need to, because I have many aunts. I have 7 aunts, like so. I don't need to visit one by one.
Right.
It would be quite impossible.
Yeah.
Mission
Yeah.
impossible to visit. So we just
Right.
gather.
Yeah. Makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's fun. It is fun to
That's
have
fine.
fun.
Maybe it's quite different from the past. In the past, we did
Yes.
visit one by one.
Right.
Maybe like 2 hours for each aunt for
Yeah.
so 4 aunts for a day like that.
Back
Yeah.
when you had time, people had more
Yeah.
time, I think, back then. So.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
This was a lot of fun to talk about all the different Chinese
Okay.
New Year traditions, and
Mm.
I wish everybody a happy Chinese New Year. And 恭喜發財，
恭喜發財，身體健康，笑口常開。
學業進步係咪？
學業進步 is for students.
Yeah, for students,
It's,
do well in school.
Yeah. Okay.
That's to my son.
心想事成 is the best, I think.
心想事成。
心想事成 means you can have whatever you want.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's it.
And can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
So your hands, the way you do it, is it the right over the left over the right, or together? Or together?
Yeah, together.
Yeah.
Very natural. Yeah,
Very
like this.
together. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
恭喜發財。拜拜。
Bye bye.